And welcome to The Factor Uncensored. Thank you for joining us tonight. The 18-year-old son of basketball star Bronny James, Bronny James, is recovering from a major scare. Monday, he suffered a cardiac arrest while practicing at USC. Thankfully, he is now in stable condition. Are other young athletes at risk of this happening? Let's bring in our guests. We have ER specialist and doctor Abdullah Kudrath and former professional athlete LaMarcus Newman from the NFL. Glad to have you all here on The Factor Uncensored. So, Dr. Kudrath, what happened in this case that we know so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a very frightening situation for the entire James family. I mean, to have your 18-year-old son collapse and go into cardiac arrest. Now, we do know that they were very quick to provide CPR, which is the most important thing whenever your heart stops, is someone has to come and know CPR. Now, exactly what happened, that's what doctors are going to try to figure out now. The best news we got was that he was downgraded from ICU to a lower acuity floor, which is a good sign. That means that he's improving, so that makes us feel a lot more relieved. Now, this happens to young athletes. You know, we've got over 1,000 cases per year. What causes
Which makes it, though, rare.
That makes it very rare.
Yeah,
yes,
1,000 cases, still rare.
Because everyone's doing athletic stuff at that age, right? So we don't know about his case, but in some of the other athletes, it's an anatomical issue or an electrical issue of the heart. And sometimes you don't know it. It's just the right conditions or certain strenuous activity that can trigger it off. The heart is a very complex organ. The electrical circuits have to be perfect for it to pump correctly. If for any reason there's a circuitry problem in the heart, you can have a sudden cardiac arrest.
And so for those who may be concerned about that for their young athletes and their family, parents, what would you tell them to do? Are there tests that would show that these problems are there, pre-existing problems?
There are, but some of these tests are quite advanced. So, you know, while it's rare, if you do experience some warning signs, if you feel lightheaded or like you're about to pass out when you start pushing it during your workouts, your activities, that's a good reason for you to go and see your doctor. If you have a family history of cardiac problems, at a younger age, you may want to start following up with a cardiologist.
LaMarcus Newman, you have been in the NFL, professional athlete. How shocked are you at this, because we've had Bronny James now and Damar Hamlin, and these are young people in the prime of their life, healthy, in good condition, and you have cardiac arrest?
Well, one of the most important things is basically to get the EKG. And then you want to make sure that you see your physician, you know, outside of professional sports, as well as in college too as well. So I think with the technology that they have now in college, I think it's good now more than when I was playing. So with that saying is, even for the high school athletes, my son and my daughter entering high school at Shadow Creek High School, even for them to get a physical, they now starting to do EKG for these kids. So I think that's important.
Now, one of the things you mentioned was seeing a doctor outside of professional sports. Why do you say that? Do you think maybe the team doctor might be like, I'm gonna let this slide?
Well, I think it's taking those precautionary measures to make sure that you do that. You know, not
so
saying
like a first and second opinion,
exactly.
third opinion.
Because you never know. You never know. So therefore, getting that second and third opinion is very important.
But are you shocked that many of these young athletes, like who are in perfect specimens, otherwise now they're dealing with cardiac arrest?
Yes, I think that's everybody's talking about that right now. So you're seeing so many different athletes, young athletes, that's passing away now for these heart conditions. What I just say is just make sure that you take those extra precautionary measures to make sure that you get those second and third opinions, because you just never know, and you don't know what's going on right now.
Dr. Kudrath, when you have these, what we consider athletes who are in excellent condition, it's not always what we see. It's not always just the exterior, right?
Well, these are very hard to predict because, you know, they've been athletes for years. They've done it through middle school, junior high, high school, and then all of a sudden you have this. You know, a good point is to get tested, get the EKG, but it doesn't catch all of them. So, but this brings up the importance. At our sporting facilities, we have to have first aid, quality first aid available, and people who are trained at these athletic complexes and at games to be ready to intervene should this happen.
Now, why is CPR so important as soon as cardiac arrest happens?
It's the #1 thing, because imagine if your heart is stopped, there is no blood going to your brain. And your brain, the cells are not going to survive for very long if they don't have a blood perfusion, a blood flow. So the faster you can check a pulse, 2 steps: check a pulse, start compressions. That's how you save a life. Check a pulse, no pulse. When you start compressing on someone's chest, you're moving the blood. You're giving some blood back to the vital organs, back to the brain, until you can get them to the hospital for more definitive care.
Now, seeing what we have seen here in James's case, do you think he will be fine, or will he have to, because DeMar Hamlin is back, you know, they're like, he's back on the field.
Yeah, we're certainly all praying for him. Like I said, the best news is that he's out of the ICU. If he's out of those advanced machines and the breathing tube and all that kind of stuff, that's a sign of improvement. So we'll wait for further news, but that is a very good sign that we've got.
All right. We want to thank you both for joining us.